What up? It's your boy T-Bone Reaction. Today is Films Friday, and we're continuing with the bonuses of Films Friday, starting with the continuation from Let me get the continuation of I'm trying to find the name of the channel from Weird History with TV, everything that happened on TV in the year, and then we're going to the year of 1992. As well too. A lot of good stuff happened in 92. I mean, lots of good stuff in the 90s happened in general, but we're definitely going to check out what went down in TV during 1992. So, without further ado, let's check out everything that happened on TV in 1992. Let's get it.
They're unstoppable! But we're gonna stop them anyway!
The toys.
Send in the Marines! Drake, Ripley, Ain't-Bone, Bishop.
Eat torch, bug brain!
1992. The year that Alien 3 chest burst into theaters and Bill Clinton sax-walked his way into the White House. Many of the most iconic TV shows came to a close, and we culturally debated, is it still okay to have a mullet? We unequivocally decided, absolutely. Go nuts, Billy Ray. Just don't tell my heart. We're taking you through all of the television shows, news, and events of the 1990s. This is Timeline TV.
You've given up drinking before. Worst 8 hours of my life.
Get ready, because this one is all about 1992.
Yeah.
But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History channel and let us know in the comments below your favorite 90s memory. Now, don't touch that dial, or skip button, I guess.
Hey, we having some fun now.
Dennis Miller, a former SNL star known for his dry quips and deadpan delivery as host of the Weekend Update segment, launched his very own show, aptly titled The Dennis Miller Show, on January 20th.
He looks like a host. Let's see
I keep forgetting he was from SNL.
The show would only last one season, but Miller went on to host the much more successful Dennis Miller
Oh, okay, so this is a different one than the one that was on HBO. Okay.
Live in 1994, which ran for 215 episodes and won multiple awards for its writing.
The National Football League proudly presents.
This was a good moment. They set the storm from a halftime show. They did, yo.
1992 Super Bowl 26 halftime spectacular.
Going up against the Super Bowl was unheard of then.
It's winter magic!
But the hit show In Living Color drew 20 million viewers away from the event's halftime show on the 26th.
Our Super Bowl countdown clock. It'll be coming on later in the show to let you know when to switch back to the second half. You won't miss any of the senseless brutality.
Keenan's nice, man. And the people he worked with, they thought of that concept, and it was bonanza. I mean, he's made corporate America trillions, easily.
It was such a significant loss of eyeballs that the following year, the Super Bowl booked Michael Jackson to perform during halftime.
Yup. That's facts. Because they did that. It's like, you know what? We ain't never. Living Color is the reason why we got the dope halftime show, and the reason why the next year we got Michael Jackson, and so on and so on, yo.
And the halftime show has been a pop culture spectacle ever since. Earlier that same day, Bill and Hillary Clinton addressed the nation on 60 Minutes over sexual misconduct allegations made by a woman named Jennifer Flowers during his time as governor.
So he had some situation going on before the Monica Lewinsky situation.
Governor of Arkansas.
You're categorically denying that you ever had an affair with Jennifer Flowers.
I did not have sex with that woman.
Said that before, and so is she.
It wouldn't be the last controversy Clinton would have to deal with on his road to the White House.
Mary and Joe.
Whoa!
George Lucas brought his famous globe-trotting adventure to television on March 4th with the debut of the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles on ABC. Starring Sean Patrick Flannery as a teenage Indy, the show was a big-budget spectacle that eventually featured a cameo from Harrison Ford himself. The world met a big purple dinosaur named Barney on April the 6th. Kids loved the cloyingly wholesome Tyrannosaur, propelling his show to 14 seasons and a series of successful feature films. Don't worry, I'm not going to sing the song.
So this it started as being just a one-off TV little movies, including St. Dog, into being the official series. Wow.
Several classic shows signed off for good later in the month. On April 25th, the beloved Tony Danza sitcom, Who's the Boss?, exited television screens forever.
Morning.
May I help you?
Well, if you're Angela Bauer, I'm here to help you.
We started the series with me with a towel on my head, opening the door to him, trying to figure out the end of the season. And when they told us they were going to bookend it with Tony coming back from teaching in Iowa, I said, oh God, that's going to be really hard to do.
I heard you were looking for a housekeeper.
Yeah, what are you doing here?
I heard you were looking for a housekeeper.
The show about a will they, won't they relationship between a career woman and her live-in male housekeeper was a hit for 8 seasons and introduced the world to Alyssa Milano.
All of us at ABC want to thank all the people on Who's the Boss for 8 wonderful years. Now find out what becomes of Mike and Kate, Maggie, Jason, Ben, and Carol on the series finale of Growing Pains. Next.
Growing Pains followed the ups and downs of the Seaver family for 7 seasons and spawned a spin-off, Just the 10 of Us.
Can we stay and see what the new people look like?
I'd rather not know.
On the last day of April, one of the most
shows
successful shows of all time signed off for good.
A lot of good shows a lot of well-known shows in there around this time too. Yeah.
Originally debuting in 1984, The Cosby Show turned stand-up comedian Bill Cosby into America's dad and became a modern classic over the course of 8 seasons.
That incredible shot of how we ended the show with Cliff and Claire dancing and then him deciding just to dance her right off of the set.
Finally, The Golden Girls gave us one last thank you for being a friend on May 9th.
The last picture was a little blurry. It was hard to tell who was who. No offense, Pussycat.
Pussycat, huh? Nobody's called me that since the Navy.
The sitcom followed 4 retired women living together in a suburban home and featured Betty White as the absent-minded Rose.
Not if a woman with all my gifts is jealous of her. I can't imagine what a woman like Rose must be thinking.
Hi-ho, the dairy-o, the farmer in the dell.
I told you, my wife loves this show. He watches every night before we go to sleep as well, too.
10 days later, Vice President Dan Quayle attacked the fictional character Murphy Brown for having a child out of wedlock during a speech at San Francisco's Commonwealth Club.
A character who supposedly epitomizes today's intelligent, highly paid professional woman, mocking the importance of fathers by bearing a child alone and calling it just another lifestyle choice.
The series later cleverly incorporated the footage into an episode, blurring the line between fiction and reality.
I'd like to introduce you to some people who might not fit into the Vice President's vision of a family, but they consider themselves families nonetheless.
Quayle is just getting stomped tonight.
This is not going to happen. They can't do this to 7
Considered one
the
of the
very first real world.
First reality shows, The Real World premiered on MTV May the 21st. The story of several strangers picked to live
The thing that started it all with reality TV, and it wasn't got big till way later. I mean, the reality she was going on, but it was reality TV popularity wouldn't get so crazy till way later. Almost, you can be honest, 10 years later, be honest.
in a house created many of the tropes we now consider standard for reality television and ran for 33 seasons. MacGyver, the TV hero famous for making improvised devices with everyday objects, pulled off his final daring escape in April. The classic Richard Dean Anderson vehicle ran for 7 seasons plus 2 made-for-television movies and would be revived in 2016 with Lucas Till in the title role.
On behalf of all of us at MacGyver, I'd like to thank you, our audience, for 7 great seasons.
Johnny Carson.
Johnny Carson,
yeah, a lot of finales came out tonight too.
King of late night and host of The Tonight Show for 30 years, made his 4,531st and final appearance as host on May 22nd.
I'm going to join the cast of Murphy Brown and become a surrogate father to that kid.
Jay Leno would take over hosting duties 3 days later. On the 30th of May, beloved sci-fi spin-off Star Trek: The Next Generation aired the classic episode The Inner Light, widely considered by Trek fans to be the best episode of the series. The hit NBC sitcom Night Court, following a bunch of miscreant attorneys and a madcap judge working the late shift, ended its initial 8-season run the very next day.
The thing is so crazy that damn near almost majority of that cast, of the known cast, except for John Larroquette and Marsha Rothfield, has passed on, yo. And I mean, of course, all the ones is the ones that was on the first season before some of them came out, but the couple ladies on there. But the main notable cast, only John Larroquette and Marsha Rothfield is still alive, yo. That's sad.
The show was recently revived, with original series star John Larroquette reprising his role as slimy district attorney Dan Fielding. 6 months after his 60 Minutes interview, presidential hopeful Bill Clinton appeared on the Arsenio Hall show.
Hold on a second, I got cold. I'm back. Let's keep going.
Where he threw on a pair of sunglasses and rocked out on the saxophone. The June 3rd broadcast is cited as a crucial moment in both boosting Clinton's popularity and cinching him the election. There were few bands in the world bigger than Guns N' Roses in 1992, and on June 6th, the group premiered the music video for November Rain, which would become the first video to get 1 billion views.
Wow.
4 rainy days later, MTV aired the first ever MTV Movie Awards, the network's first concrete push into Hollywood that would eventually lead to films like Beavis and Butthead, Do America, and Napoleon Dynamite.
I've forgotten Napoleon Dynamite was an MTV movie, yep.
Motivating, it's good for the film industry, and I think it's great for us to know what people like.
Def Jam Records co-founder Russell Simmons debuted his landmark stand-up comedy showcase Def Comedy Jam on July the 1st.
LT and Ice-T. What, man, what's up? Y'all got the same mother? What is that? Rhino linebacker?
Initially co-hosted by Martin Lawrence, the show aired on HBO for 8 seasons and featured performances from future stars like Dave Chappelle and Chris Tucker.
Thank y'all for the block party. I'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Debuting on Fox on July 8th, the
Melrose
primetime soap Melrose Place began as a spin-off of Beverly Hills 90210, following a slightly older cast of characters living in the titular...
I did not know it was a spin-off from... I knew it came on around Melrose Place, but I didn't know it was a spin-off from Melrose Place. I mean, spin-off of Beverly Hills 90210. We gotta find out what... You gotta let me know where it came spin-off from.
Apartment complex.
Excuse me.
It's okay. I was just hot.
What would become a cultural phenom all its own, thanks in part to Heather Locklear's role as the villainous Amanda Woodward.
You folks see that flashing sign up there?
Larry
Now
Sanders.
that sign says applesauce.
Just over a month later, on the 15th of August, The Larry Sanders Show aired its first episode on HBO.
Hey, listen, you're not going to do Arsenio or Leno, are you?
I've got to. Hey, it's a business. Get used to it. Blow me.
The celebrated parody of a
R.P.
late-night
Rob
talk
Williams.
show starred
And
Gary
Bob Saget.
Shandling as the title character and was showered with awards across its 6 seasons.
Hey now! There, you just said it again.
Aiming for a slightly different audience, Nickelodeon debuted its Snick at Night
Yes.
programming block that same day.
Snick.
That's Snick.
The Snickers.
Snick's there.
Snick
Yup.
here.
It's sneaking out.
Saturday night.
It was Ren Stimpy, Carissa Explainer, all the Roundhouse, and Are You Afraid of the Dark was the initial shows before they added more, before they added the infamous shows like all that and Kenan and Kel. I think SpongeBob was originally premiered on Snick before it became part of Nicktoons, but yes.
Nickelodeon.
Featuring more mature shows for older kids,
Roundhouse.
Snick at Night served as a launchpad for classic series like Are You Afraid of the Dark and all that.
Yep.
Not content with his Def Jam
Yep.
hosting
Oh,
duties,
yeah.
Martin Lawrence
Wow.
debuted his own
Stuff a good year should look like so far.
eponymous sitcom on Fox on August 27th.
I want you out. I don't even know why you're still here. Step! Step!
The hit show ran for 5 seasons and solidified Lawrence as a major star. Famed wrestler and performer Andre the Giant made his final television appearance in America on September 2nd, giving a short interview during World Championship Wrestling's Clash of the Champions 20 from the Center Stage Theater in Atlanta.
Thank you, and I'm very happy to be back here to see all my TBS, all wrestling stars.
3 days later, Batman, the animated series, debuted on Fox. Developed by animators Paul Dini and Bruce Timm, the series was based on the darker version of the superhero featured in the Tim Burton movies, and would go on to win multiple Emmys.
We call it Dark Deco, with some computer technology going for it.
In my mind, it was sort of like, what if the 1939 World's Fair had gone on another 60 years or so, and the cool sense of design from the Art Deco years was in operation well up until the 90s.
Today, it's considered one of the definitive adaptations of the character, and one of the best animated shows ever made. 10 days later, NBC became the first network to end its Saturday morning cartoon programming.
I want to be on NBC.
The block of animated shows that had reigned supreme throughout the 1980s was replaced with Saved by the Bell, California Dreams, NBA Inside Stuff, and Name Your Adventure. We're betting they didn't sell as much cereal. Television history was made a second time 2 days later on September the 14th, when supermodel and future Borat star Pamela Anderson made her debut as lifeguard C.J. Parker on the international hit show Baywatch.
Oh my God, Mitch, I'm sorry. I was just so surprised to see you standing there.
Not as surprised as I was.
Her role on the show would help transform Anderson into one of the biggest sex symbols of the 1990s. While several classic shows signed off in 1992, that September saw a handful of new hits make their debuts. Picket Fences, a quirky drama about the idiosyncratic residents of the town of Rome, Wisconsin, premiered on the 18th. Starring Tom Skerritt as the sheriff of the bizarre town, the show lasted 4 seasons and nearly did a crossover episode with The X-Files.
My name is Mark Curry. We're doing my new sitcom here, hanging with Mr. Cooper.
No. This is the Seavers house.
I was wondering who those white people were in that picture.
Hang It with Mr. Cooper, starring Mark Curry as a former NBA player turned school teacher, premiered on the 22nd.
My name is Michelle Tanner. I'm the special helper of the week.
Well, if I need some special help, I'm going to call my special helper.
You catch on very quick.
The hit series ran for 5 seasons, retiring for good in 1997. Mad About You hit the airwaves 1 day later. The sitcom about a newlywed couple living in New York became a surprise hit thanks to the chemistry between its 2 stars, Paul Reiser and Helen Hunt.
I think I'm pregnant. Just kidding. Make the coffee.
The show ran for 7 seasons and was revived as a limited series in 2019. Sci-Fi, the network that brought us the cult hit Battlestar Galactica reboot and the Sharknado franchise, made its humble debut on the small screen with Star Wars on September 24th.
The Sci-Fi Network would be great. I think it should open up the eyes to the public.
This is great. I can't wait for it to come on.
Wow, check out the cosplaying back then.
On behalf of the Turner
Cartoon Network,
System, I welcome you to the launch of the world's only and first Cartoon Network.
Man, 92 had a lot of stuff good stuff going on, man.
Cartoon Network aired its first cartoon, the Merry Melody short Rhapsody Rabbit, on October 1st. Founded by Turner Broadcasting System, the network was seen as extremely niche, with no hint of the massive success it would become. Controversial singer Sinead O'Connor kicked off November by ripping up a picture of Pope John Paul II live on SNL in protest of the Catholic Church's history of covering up child abuse,
Fight the real enemy.
which would later be revealed in a 2002 investigation. O'Connor was banned from the show for life. Michael Jackson's Live at Bucharest, the Dangerous Tour, beamed into households across the nation.
I remember watching it as a kid. I remember watching it as a kid with my mama, yes.
HBO. It became the highest audience in the channel's history for a single broadcast. In celebration of the 30th anniversary of Star Trek, original series star James Doohan reprised his role as Scotty on the October 12th episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, titled Relics.
But I've always found that a ship is only as good as the engineer who takes care of it. And from what I can see, the Enterprise is in good hands.
Doohan would reprise the role again 2 years later in the TNG film Star Trek Generations. And on Halloween, Fox Kids debuted X-Men, the animated series. The show made the X-Men one of the best-selling superhero properties of the 90s, leading to the blockbuster film series starring Hugh Jackman.
Watch the premiere of X-Men Saturday morning, October 31st on Fox.
One of the most controversial half hours of television ever produced, the Seinfeld episode The Contest premiered 18 days later on November 18th. In the episode, the four main characters make a bet to see who can go the longest without self-love. Despite initial pushback, it went on to become one of the show's signature episodes.
You're out? Oh my God, the Queen is dead.
Captain Planet and the Planeteers was a socially conscious Saturday morning cartoon starring an eco-friendly superhero who taught kids about empathy and to protect the environment. On November 21st, it became the first children's animated series to mention the AIDS epidemic in the episode A Formula for Hate.
I've got AIDS.
Wrong. You're HIV positive. It could be years before you even get sick.
The episode was inspired by the real-life story of Ryan White, a 12-year-old boy who contracted HIV through a blood transfusion.
Deal with the real people.
You can't get AIDS from casual contact.
Right now, Todd needs your support. The power is yours.
So what do you think? What was the best TV moment of 1990?
Damn, a lot happened in 92, man. Fond memories, very, very fond memories for sure, yo. So yeah, other than that, though, this was definitely a good little depiction right here. So if you like my reaction, there's like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's your boy T-Bear signing off. One love. Alright, man, this was good, yo.